Hey guys, it's Kyla at the MJC, and this time we're going to be talking about the marital relationship and maintenance sections of the marital settlement without minor children. But before we get started, as always, just a reminder that nothing in this video is intended to be legal advice. It is a video, so I am not able to analyze your specific situation to determine whether the agreement that you've come to is something that a court can approve or that it's in your best interest or anything like that. So it's definitely worth getting some legal advice, especially on this marital settlement agreement. You can get legal advice for free here in Milwaukee County, or at least brief legal advice for free, through the Marquette Volunteer Legal Clinics. If you're not located in Milwaukee County, you can contact your clerk of court to find out what resources are available in your area. All right, so this section, the first one, marital relationship, is pretty easy for everyone. It should match up with whatever you put up here in the caption. So you're either seeking a divorce, so you're saying that your marriage is irretrievably broken and you want to end your marriage, or you're picking legal separation. And in a legal separation, and make sure again, if I picked legal separation down here, I should have also picked legal separation up here. Yes. So if you're picking legal separation, you need to indicate why you're requesting a legal separation and not a divorce. And that can be fairly simple. You can say, my religion doesn't permit divorce. Right? So that, that can be a reason. It could be, we still hope we might reconcile. Reconcile. It doesn't have to be fancy. It's just sort of a brief description of why you're wanting to remain married and have a legal separation, but not get divorced. But in our situation, John and Jane do want to get divorced. They want their marriage to be finished, so we're going to check divorce there. The next section, section B, is where you're going to talk about maintenance. Maintenance is spousal support. In the past and in other places, it's sometimes called alimony. And so for each person, you have three options, and you'll select which one best represents what you've agreed to. So this first section is talking about maintenance for joint petitioner A. Or if you filed originally separately, but are now going forward this way, then the petitioner would go here. So basically, whoever's name is listed in this line of the caption should be the person we're talking about here. And you have three options. The first option is to say that this person, joint petitioner A, or the petitioner, gives up their right to get maintenance now or ever in the future. So they're saying they don't want it now, and they're giving up their right to ever come back and ask for maintenance. B is saying that you're not proposing that they get maintenance right now, so there wouldn't be a current maintenance payment, but they're allowed to come back and ask for it. So you would check this one, and until a date. So you're going to put a deadline. So how long can they continue to come back and ask for it? So we could say they can come back and ask for it, until 12/31 of 2021. So that would be next year from the time I'm recording this. Or you could, you can put anything you want. Again, whether a court will approve it is a different question, but just for filling it out, you're just supposed to put a deadline. So what is the point that they can't come back and ask for maintenance anymore? And then you also have to indicate if it's going to be limited at all. So you could pick number one. So that would be if maintenance is only going to be allowed in specific circumstances. So, only if, if respondent sells the business, or or only if joint petitioner B wins the lotto. Whatever your reason is, if you're saying only in these circumstances would it be allowed. The other option, if you're saying, well, I don't know what specific, but we just generally want it to be allowed, you can also check 2. 2 is saying that you want this to be in any appropriate substantial change. So basically, if something changes, we want maintenance to be allowed to be requested if the court thinks it's a reasonable change in circumstances that should now allow for maintenance. So that's if you're filling in that section. The other option is if you and your spouse have agreed that joint petitioner A or the original petitioner will receive maintenance, then you're going to select C. And in C, you will put how much per month that is going to be paid. So this is how much that joint petitioner B or the respondent would be paying to joint petitioner A. So this is how much, in our case, John Smith would be paying Jane Doe. You put the amount there, and then you put a date at which it's supposed to begin. And one thing that's a little tricky about this is, as you're filling this out, your actual hearing might be a little bit in the future. So this won't be approved by a court for maybe a few months. And so some people try to account for that, so they go a few months ahead. Some people just have a specific date and they agree that's when it takes effect, and it might mean that the other person has a little bit of a back amount built up. So you're just going to put what you guys think is a reasonable date for it to begin. So here, John and Jane, let's say they discussed it and they think that the first of this upcoming year is an appropriate time. And then here, you're also supposed to put an end date for maintenance, at least on this form. And so you'll put in when you guys agree it should end. It can be a year, it can be 10 years, it can be 100 years, but it's just when you guys agree it should end. And then, of course, note that it does automatically end in some situations. If joint petitioner A remarries, dies, or other circumstances such as that. So you'll put in an end date, and we'll say that for them, they wanted it to be of 2026, so they wanted it to last 5 years for some reason. So you'll put in that. Now, do note, some people will say, well, what if we just want it to go on indefinitely? As far as filling out the form, I suppose you would leave this line blank, but at that point, if you're talking about it being indefinite, you may want to get some brief legal advice. That's one of those things that, again, typically when we're seeing this in our clinics, it has an end date. And so that's definitely what we would recommend. And if you're looking at having it be, be more complicated, you may wish to get some legal advice on that. Here, under B2, we have the same set of questions, same set of options for the respondent. So or the respondent or joint petitioner B. So again, we can say that person gives up their right to get maintenance now or ever in the future. They're not asking for it right now, but we're going to leave open their right to ask for it. Or we can say that C, they're going to pay maintenance as well. It would be unusual to have C checked for both people, but again, this is your proposal, so whatever you guys agree to. But here in our specific situation, we'll say that John and Jane have agreed that Jane is going to get a little bit of maintenance, but that John is going to give up his right to get maintenance now or ever in the future. And then here, the payments shall be made. So if you're in a situation where both of you have given up your right to get maintenance now or ever in the future, or where either of you selected that you're not asking for it right now, but you're going to leave open the right to ask it, then you're going to check A. No payments are currently ordered. So the only time you're not going to be checking A is if you selected C and you're proposing that one of you will receive maintenance payments. In that situation, you'll want to do B. And for our situation, you can see John and Jane have agreed that Jane is going to get a little bit of maintenance. So we're going to go ahead and look here and fill out B. So for B, you'll check B. It's just saying that payments are supposed to be made to the Wisconsin Support Collections Trust Fund. Unfortunately, there isn't a workaround for that. It does have to go through that system so that they can keep track of whether everything's been paid on time and all of that. Here, you can either say the person is going to pay directly to the trust fund. You can only do that in situations where somebody is self-employed. If somebody is employed by a business, then you're going to go ahead and do number 2. So as you guys may recall this is John's financial, he is employed by a business. So he's not self-employed, he's working for Mario Brothers Plumbing. And so we're going to put in that information here. And so again, that's going to be Mario Brothers Plumbing. We will put in the address of their payroll office, which again from his financial we know is 5555 East Bowser Boulevard, which is up in Brown Deer. And again, this is a made-up location, so to the best of my knowledge, the Mario Brothers do not actually work out of Brown Deer. 53223. And then we will put in their phone number. And their phone number was 414 555 5555. And they did not have a fax. So we've got all of that information in. And again, you'll put as much as you've got. And then last but not least in this section, this maintenance section, we do have arrearages for previously ordered maintenance. And so I'm just going to go through each one of these really quickly here. The first one, A, is saying that no maintenance has ever been ordered in the past between you guys. So there's never been spousal support ordered by a court before. If that is true, then you'll check number 1 and you're done. If you're in a situation where there has been spousal support ordered, so maybe you guys had a temporary order where there was spousal support ordered. Maybe you guys had a previous divorce case where there was a temporary order, so there was some spousal support ordered. Those sorts of situations where you have had a little bit of maintenance ordered at some point. Then you're going to be looking at the rest of these. B is saying that the maintenance was paid like it was supposed to be. So if we had a temporary order where John was supposed to pay Jane, but he paid every month just like he was supposed to, we would check B. It's saying John paid like he was supposed to, so there's no amount due. C is saying if there are any arrearages, I just want to forgive those and start at 0. So let's say John missed a payment, but he and Jane are okay. If he just starts, they zero that out and start going forward. That would be C. D is saying that whatever the number showing in that trust fund computer system is, we want that to be paid off, and then you're going to put how it'll be paid off. So we would put here, maybe John's going to pay $50 per month, beginning, and again, you can put sort of whatever date you guys agree is an appropriate date for that to begin. 2021, I guess I can't go in the past there. And then you'll indicate if it's going to earn any interest. So you can put 0, you can put an interest amount, whatever suits you there. So that would be that one. You have E, which is pretty similar, but a little bit different. So E is saying that you guys are proposing to set the arrears to a specific number. So note, generally you can't go above the number in the KIDS system. So if the trust fund computer system says John owes $2,000, it would be unusual for somebody to be agreeing to say, well, we're going to agree that John actually owes $10,000. But what you could do, what you'll see sometimes is we'll say John owes Jane $2,000. But they both agree that, because of the circumstances or whatever, they only want him to pay her $1,000. So you go here, shall be set at 1,000, so we're reducing it down to 1,000. And then either, if John just has $1,000 and he's ready to pay it, then we'll check 1 and say that it can be done through a one-time payment made to the trust fund, and then we'll put a deadline, a date by which John's got to get that payment made. 2021, like that. Or the other option is if, let's say John isn't able to pay that off in a lump sum right now, we could check 2 and say that it'll be done just like we did up here through a monthly income withholding. So it's going to be $50 beginning, the start of the year. And again, I keep putting the start of the year because I'm not very creative. You guys don't have to put the start of the year. It can be whatever date you all agree to. And then here, what's going to be the annual interest on that. So we've got that one. That is an option. The last option is F. So F is just saying the court will figure out what the arrears are and how it'll be repaid. Generally, for joints, again, we recommend you guys coming to an agreement, but F is an option technically on the form. All right. Well, that is everything for this section. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you all go out and represent yourselves well.